Right, so today we're going to talk about why I decided to stretch my hamstrings for 30 days. But first, I'm going to enjoy a sip of my whiskey. It's got ginger ale and ice in it as well. It's not all whiskey. Actually, I hope my dad's not watching this because he's a Scotsman, and putting ice in your whiskey is like it's like trying to feed an Italian tin ravioli. He's half Italian as well. That would really annoy him. Right, so I decided that I was going to stretch my hamstrings every day for 30 days. Now, why did I decide this? Well, I make no secret of it, and as long as I can remember, I have had terrible range of movement through my hamstrings. I've cycled most of my life. I've roller skated as a kid, so I put a lot of it down to that sort of stuff. I wonder as well if it's genetics. I don't know, because my mum's got terribly short hamstrings. Maybe it's her fault. Mum, it's your fault. Might not be. Might just be from all the cycling and the roller skating. Who knows? But I needed to make a conscious effort about it because it wasn't. They never caused me any pain. It's never a problem, but the range of movement was starting to become a problem, and I noticed it when filming a video a month or so back for YouTube, and I was trying to do seated straight leg raises, and I couldn't straighten my leg, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. I'm telling people to do exercises that I can't even do myself. This is stupid." So I thought, right, I've got to do something about this. So I made it my mission to sort of stretch my hamstrings for 30 days. Now, why did I choose 30 days? It's not because 30 days is the magic number to suddenly make my hamstrings long enough. It's because it's commonly believed that 30 days is the amount of time that you need to do something for it to become sort of more of a habit, more habitual. And one of the things about stretching, and it gets wasted on people a lot of time, and what a lot of people don't realise, is that this is something you will have to continue to do. This isn't something I'm going to do for a period of time, improve the length of my hamstrings, and then suddenly not have to do it again. It's something that I'm going to have to maintain and continue working on for the rest of my life because of the activities that I choose to do, the sports and stuff, that seems to have an impact on the length of my hamstrings. My reasoning behind it is if I do it for 30 days, it will become habitual and I will continue to do it and I will continue to improve the length of my hamstrings. So I sort of picked a few stretches that I like to do and I rotate between them because I'm one of these people that if I do the same thing over and over again, I get bored very quickly and I'll stop doing it. So I'm not a particularly good creature of habit in that sense. So it made sense for me, and this might not be applicable to everyone, it made sense for me to change my routine every couple of days or daily just to mix it up and keep it interesting. Some people can just do the same thing over and over and over again and not get bored. I applaud you. I cannot do that. I have not got that good attention span. Things become monotonous and I just stop doing them. I go and look and do something else. So that was the reasoning about. So I've sort of picked a few exercises and picked a few stretches and sort of started rotating them and doing them every day. Now, I chose to do my stretches mainly in the morning because that's what suited me at the time. We were still on lockdown and it was just easy to get up and do them, and it sort of felt like it set me up for the rest of the day. So then the first one I do, and the one that I would probably do most of the time and I didn't really deviate from, was sitting against a wall with my back against the wall and my legs out straight in front of me. And this goes to show how tight my hamstrings were because this at the start was very difficult. And it shouldn't be. Everyone should be able to sit like with a 90-degree bend through their hips, and I was struggling. Like I could feel the tension through my hips and pulling into my hamstrings. But with time, I noticed that become easier, and then it just felt like I was sitting down. So then I would play around with like manually, like using my hands to internally rotate my hips, like my thigh muscle, and rotate in, and that put more of a stretch down, and then I'd start leaning forward into the stretch as well. Now, by no means am I touching my toes and like kissing my feet at this point, but I'm already seeing an improvement, and this was just after sort of a matter of a week or two. So you can quite quickly make improvement with these things, but it's then making sure that you don't drop off. Now, then I went through a range of other stretches, some static, some dynamic, sort of lots of bending down to touch my toes, repetitions, walking along while sort of dipping to touch my toes. And then I also worked on the adductors slightly with my seated with my legs spread out and trying to lean forwards, standing with my one foot up on like a bench or something that's a little bit higher, and leaning in and rotating that way. And I would hold all of these stretches for at least 30 seconds because all the literature that I'd read previously and from the training I did when I was at university, it was always sort of explained that you need to hold a stretch for at least 20 to 30 seconds for it to have an impact on the muscle fibres and for the lengthening to sort of stay when you're doing a static stretch. Dynamic stretching is a little bit different, but yeah, so I sort of stuck any static stretch I held for 30 seconds. Now, I won't say that I was that vigorous with it. I wasn't that strict with it every day. There was days, especially when I started getting back to work and stuff, where I may have dropped off and I probably didn't spend as much time doing the stretches as I could have. I always try to fit at least one stretch in, but I didn't get as much stretching in as I could have on some days. But, you know, life gets in the way, and this is one of these things that I'm always telling my patients. You've got to do what you can do around your lifestyle. You know, unfortunately, we don't have infinite amount of time, and so when we do have the time to do it, take advantage of it. But when we don't, just try and fit it in around your lifestyle, and that will help. And it means it's more manageable then. If something's too much, if you've got hours and hours of stretching or exercising, it's very difficult for people to fit that into their lifestyle. So they generally won't be able to, and they'll drop off. So put it into manageable chunks. So, you know, I would do it if I had 10-15 minutes spare. I would be on one day and I hadn't done it in the morning. I would like, right, okay, I'll make the effort to do some of the stretches now. So most of the time I did it in the morning, but it didn't happen every time. Now, I have definitely improved. I've definitely got more length in my hamstrings, and I've definitely got more flexibility. And I'm by no means touching my toes. I'm not. I'd be lying to say I was. But I'm further. And I'm not getting any pulling. I was starting to get sort of pulling in my hamstrings when I've been on long walks. Nothing painful, but I could just feel tension. That's gone now. So there's definitely been an improvement. But I'm not getting as far as I want. And then it sort of realised that it's not just the hamstrings that are holding me back. And this is where I've been a bit narrow-minded about the whole thing, you know, and where often people can get narrow-minded. And this is why it's good for someone else to look at you and examine the problem, because they will be out of the problem. And sometimes we get a little bit wrapped up in our own problems and we're not sort of thinking outside the box. And I just totally forgot about my calves. Like, just pretended they didn't exist. And they are still tight. You know, they're not the worst. Like, there's people that I've seen with much tighter calves and much more inflexible calves than me, but they've still not got enough length through them so that when I bend down to try and touch my toes, now I don't feel the pull through my hamstrings, but I get to a certain point and then my calves stop me. There's not the length and flexibility through my calf muscle to allow me to get to that last little bit. So I've been really narrow-minded, that I thought I'll just stretch the hamstrings, I'll focus on one muscle and it will be fine. And it was foolish. And this is what I'm always preaching, is that we need to look at the body as a whole. And like, it's not, you can't look at muscles in isolation because they work together. We have like chains of muscle groups that have a huge impact on each other, and if there's a compromise in one of the links of that chain, then it has a knock-on effect through the whole chain. So my posterior chain, if you like, was compromised by my hamstrings and my calves, and while I improved the problem in my hamstrings, I just didn't even think about the kinks in my calves. So I'm now working on that and trying to improve that whilst continuing to work on my hamstrings. And it's getting better, I'm improving, but like I said, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and nor did I expect to be after 30 days. This is something that I'm going to have to continue to work on and continue to do, and this is a lesson that I want people to understand, and it's something I try and get across to any patients that come and see me, that, you know, a lot of the time exercises aren't just like you do them once and then you never have to do them again. There's unless we change the thing that's impacting and causing the problem as well, and sometimes we don't always want to change those things. Like, I'm not going to stop cycling. I like it. It's my thing. I go and do it. It's my exercise. It's my release. It's my sort of mental clearing time. So we have to do something to sort of counteract the impact that's having, and I will always have to do that. And this is something that you guys at home, if you have a similar problem, it might not be your hamstrings, it might be something else in your body. You can't just do something once, improve it, and then expect it to maintain. There's a good chance that if you carry on doing the thing that was causing it in the first place, you'll go back to that. So this needs to become sort of a lifestyle thing, and this brings us back to the 30 days and why I chose to do the 30 days, because it becomes more habitual now, and I'm consciously thinking like, I'm going to stretch I wake up and like stretch my hamstring. It has become habitual for me, and that's good because I'm not thinking about it, and I've dedicated a part of my day to doing it now, and it's part of my daily routine, and it no longer feels a chore. It's just something that I do because I know it has benefit, and I'm seeing the improvements. But it's something I'm going to have to continue to do. So these are not short journeys. These are things that we have to do for the long term, and I want you guys at home to understand that and take that and apply it to whatever you need to apply it to. That it's not just sort of, oh, I'll do this for a little while and then I'll be fine, because otherwise the problem comes back. And this is why, as an osteopath, when I treat someone, I always want to find the root of the problem, and if we can, change that so that people don't have to keep coming back, have recurring problems. I want to give you the tools to deal with it on your own. So in summary, I've got better hamstrings, but I need to improve my calves. I still can't touch my toes, but I'm getting there, and I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that, and I'm working on it at my pace, a pace that suits me, a pace that works for me. I'm not in competition with anyone else with this, you know. I don't need to do it for anybody else. I'm just doing it for me. So I'm going to continue to work on it, and you never know, a few months down the line, I may be able to touch my toes. So let's see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments, please. Comment, disagree, agree, like, dislike, I don't mind. I'm interested to see everybody's and hear everybody's point of view, so please leave a comment for me, and I will see you guys in the next one.